Hey there guys, Matt Guzman here and back with another video, and today's going to be about how to get the Citizenship in the Community Merit Badge. Now this one is a fairly long one, and most people get caught up in it because of one requirement, which I will discuss later. However, let's get right into the merit badge. This is one out of three citizenship merit badges. I've already covered the other two, citizenship in the world and citizenship in the nation. The citizenship is in the community is the last community merit badge that I need, and if you haven't already got the other two, you should probably get those ones as well. Anyway, let's get right into this merit badge. Citizenship in the community requirement number one. Explain what citizenship in the community means and what it takes to be a good citizen in your community. Discuss the rights, duties, and obligations of citizenship. Also, explain how you can demonstrate good citizenship in your community, scouting unit, place of worship, or school. Two things that tie together well is the beginning of the scout rank, because it's talking about the Pledge of Allegiance and what you should do to respect the flag. And as a member of your scouting community, you should always do the sign or salute when in the presence of the U.S. flag, like a good member of the community. Moving on to number two, it says do the following. And this one has quite a lot of things to do. 2A, on a map of your community, locate and point out the following. 1. Chief government buildings, such as City Hall, county courthouse, and public works and service facilities. So you don't need to have one map, you can have multiple, but you need to have a map of your community and locate these things. And there's more too. 2A2, fire station, police station, and hospital nearest to your home. 2A3 says parks, playgrounds, recreation areas, and trails. And 2A4, historical or other interesting points of interest. So what I did, besides getting out a physical map and trying to circle all these different places, I used Google Maps, which is very good for this requirement because you can pull up multiple tabs and show the different attractions or different sites. Now, since I live in Florida, let's use Orlando as an example. So chief government buildings as City Hall. So Orlando City Hall. And then once we hit enter, go to Google Maps, and it pinpoints exactly where that place is on the map. It does take a couple seconds, but if you look, there's City Hall Station right there over Orlando. So let's say Orlando Hospital. You can see there's multiple hospitals around Orlando. If we zoom out, there we go. There's like a cluster of hospitals right here. And if you zoom out even more, there's even more. So you can pinpoint the nearest of whichever your house is. Let's just say I live somewhere to the east. I would say that one of these is with the closest ones. For attractions, I wonder what attractions there are in Orlando. Orlando attractions. Universal, yeah, Islands of Adventure. So Islands of Adventure, that's a cool thing. So interesting points of interest. I don't know why it's worded like that, but 2A4 says historical or other interesting points of interest. Universal, there's gardens, SeaWorld, a bunch of other things here in Orlando. So once you're having all these maps up, all you can do is describe it to your counselor on where the locations of these are and how these benefit your community. And that was just 2A. Moving on to 2B, it says chart the organization of your local or state government, as in like a hierarchy kind of thing of the different levels of government organization. Show the top offices and tell whether they are elected or appointed. Now, for me, I live in Florida, so I did the state government, which obviously the governor of Florida is at the top. I guess you could say the senator is at the top, but the charts I found also the governor, so. 3 says to do the following. 3A, attend a meeting of your city, town, or county council or school board, or attend a municipal, county, or state court session. Now, it says attend a meeting. It doesn't say you have to actually physically be at the meeting. However, you do need to pay attention to it. So I asked my counselor, and he verified this idea of looking up council meetings online, because I know there are multiple sites that have council meetings about different topics, and as long as it's like an actual meeting from a school board or city council or something like that that falls along the lines of that, and your counselor approves it, it could still count because it's a counter that's attending the meeting, even though you're not physically there. At least that's what my counselor said it would count for. For example, for requirement number 3, I looked up on Brevard schools. They have a thing where you can look up videos from past school board meetings. So at this time, it was like December 19th. So I looked up this December 17th board meeting. Basically, it was talking about zoning areas for new schools that might be coming and talking about funding for different school programs. That was the point of it. As you can see, it has different indexes on which of the timestamps it actually talks about the stuff. So I looked through and I went to where it started about the improvement plans and started taking notes about the different sides. And when you play it, it gives off different things as well. And I mean, not different things, but the audio, it's as if you're really there. So my counselor approved it, saying that this would count because it's an actual board meeting that was verified by the public school system, and it goes through the entirety of that meeting. So if you sit there and you're watching it, you take notes, and you explain to your counselor what the point of the meeting is, then I am pretty sure that your counselor will also approve this as well. And 3B says to choose one issue discussed at that meeting where a difference of opinions were expressed. So this is where you have to pay attention and take notes, because if you don't know, then you won't be able to get this done because you won't know the different sides of opinions. Also, explain to your counselor why you agree with one opinion more than another one that was presented during the meeting. Moving on to number 4, choose an issue that is important to the citizens of your community. Then do one of the following. Do the following, not one. So do all of 4, sorry. 4A, find out which branch of local government is responsible for that issue. With your counselor's and parents' approval, interview one person from the government branch you identified in requirement 4A. Now, again, with this one, you don't have to meet them face to face. I don't know if you've noticed, but on almost every website pertaining to issues, they always says, ask more questions, or contact us, or see more at this email, this number, whatever. So, as an interview, you could email them, go on a phone call, or have some type of communication with them asking about this requirement. So for this requirement, I looked up Brevard County because that's part of the government, the branch of government. So where it says with your parent and counselor's approval, interview one person. I emailed a representative from the Keep Brevard Beautiful organization and asked them about the requirement, saying, well, not the specific requirement, but in the email, I asked them about the issue of conservation with beaches, because beaches is something that I've done before where I've conserved beaches by cleaning up trash, but I wanted to ask them what they're doing to help beaches being cleaned up. And because a lot of the places and rivers and lagoons in Florida are very polluted, so I asked them how young people can help and if they have any opportunities for the scouts in my troop. And for B, with your counselors and parents' approval, interview one person from a government branch you identified in requirement 4A. Now, again, this doesn't have to be literal face-to-face communication. You could email them, contact them, phone call, as long as there is some type of communication coming back and forth relating to this requirement, asking about the different subjects that they want you to ask about. So, like 4B also says, ask what is being done about this issue and how young people can help. And also, share what you have learned with your counselor. So for me, I just sent an email to an issue based on conservation with beaches in Florida. Number 5 says, with approval of counselor and your parent, watch a movie that shows how the actions of one individual or group can have a positive effect on a community. In doing so, discuss with your counselor what you learned from the movie about what it means to be a valuable and concerned member of the community. So, I don't know if any of you have watched this movie. It's pretty old, but it's fairly popular. It's called It's a Wonderful Life. Basically, the movie It's a Wonderful Life is about a character called George Bailey who helps everyone else in his community before himself. He sets his wants aside for the needs of the building and loan, for his friends, and for his family. And he does this all while keeping his community in balance and make sure everyone that he cares about is okay. But sometimes he forgets to make sure that he himself is okay, and the whole plot of the movie is how he affects other people and how what he does to himself also might affect everyone else as well. To list some services, like a library, recreation center, public transportation, that your community provides that are funded by taxpayers. Tell your counselor why these services are important to your community. Now, this is one I got done in summer camp, but basically we talked, I don't really know how to explain this. It's pretty self-explanatory in the requirements, so I'm just going to move on. To requirement number 7, do the following. Again, you have to do all of these. 7A, identify 3 charitable organizations outside of Scouting, key outside of Scouting, that interest you and bring people together in your community and to work for the good of your community. That was kind of redundant. I don't know why it's worded like that. Also, pick one of the organizations you chose for requirement 7A. Using a variety of resources, find out more about this organization, like flyers, newspapers, the internet, anything else that you can find out. And with your counselors and parents' approval, contact the organization you chose, find out what young people can do to help, and while working on this merit badge, volunteer at least 8 hours of your time for the organization. So that was a lot. Basically, pick 3 organizations about a matter that's or an issue or matter that's important or that you feel is important. Do research on that issue and what the organization does. Contact your organization and then volunteer 8 hours of service. And it has to be non-scouting related or non-scouted affiliated, which means if your church has something to do with like a food drive, that could work as long as it's not specifically for like scouting for food or something. It could be a food drive as part of the church. That could still work. So that's what I did. I don't have all 8 hours yet, but I'm still working towards it. 7C also says, after your volunteer experience is over, discuss what you have learned with your counselor. This last one says to develop a public presentation about important and or unique aspects of your community. Include information about the history, cultures, and ethnic groups of your community, its best features and popular places where people gather, the challenges it faces, and once you're done with that, stage your presentation in front of your merit badge counselor or a group such as your patrol or a class at school. And that is the last requirement for this merit badge. Thank you for watching my video on how to get the Citizenship and Community merit badge. If you did enjoy, please like it, turn on notifications on my channel, and I will see you all in the next video.